We're going to go ahead and start today. Today we're going to communication, and really what we're going to talk about communication, and probably towards the end of the whole talk here, I'll be having some of you come back on, and I'll give you a little snippet of a reading and different things in that vibration. But I want to explain readings. I want to explain a lot of different ways, a lot of different situations that we do to do readings and connect to the spirit world. A lot of people use different tools. Here in the Casadega, here where we live in Casadega, we're mostly mental mediums. So we actually deal with spirit directly without any kind of tools, with nothing laying out or doing something with tools. And tools are things that you use to bring the communication of spirit. And how you do that is as sometimes you'll have a little niche, like you'll touch a card. It'll take part of your brain out of sync. So it'll take it out of sync, and you'll be able to more directly connect to spirit. That's why tools work very well for a lot of individuals, because it allows you to take yourself out of the way, get yourself out of your own way by using the tools. Pendulums are one of the major keys with this. People will do readings with pendulums, and when I teach this, and I teach pendulums, I teach you how to do with pendulums. That little thing on the top of the pendulum is not for you to hold that with your fingers. Not. A lot of people, I teach this and they go, "Oh, I didn't know that," and they do a pendulum of most of their life. That ball is to be able to be put between the two fingers like this, and hold it like that. So that way you have no control over the pendulum. You do not have a control over it. If you touch it with both your fingers and you touch that pendulum, the pulses within the two fingertips are going to make that pendulum move. Pulses. So you'll get sometimes right answers, sometimes no, and it just isn't working right, because the pendulum is that vibration. And every pendulum, this one has a little bit different on it. This one's got a same kind of ball at the top of it. This one's got more of a metal silver thing at the end of it. Mostly pendulums will have that at the end of them, and they are to hold between the two fingers and hold up. And then that way you have no control over it. So you can ask your yes and no questions, connect to the spirit world, ask your guides are here. As for names, you can do this whole vibrational situation with a pendulum for personal readings. And I have friends of mine that do pendulum readings as a professional reading. They do pendulum readings as a professional reading with the pendulum. So a lot of times people will use that to do professional readings with that. But I usually use pendulums for personal communication with spirit. When I'm looking for a direct answer, looking for something that I would like to know for myself. So I allow me to work with it, allow it to work with the pendulum. But I always teach people that, because a lot of individuals are never taught that. They're never taught what that little thing on the end of the pendulum is for. The thing on the end of the pendulum is actually to hold the pendulum between your fingers, not hold it like this. So I wanted to say that before we've also got into pendulums and different things with pendulums. And pendulums are usually really good for yes and no questions, yes and no. So is this my guide? It'll move for yes, move for no. And you're always training the pendulum to tell you whether your yes could go side to side or back and forth. It's up to you what your yes would be and what your no would be. You set the pendulum for what it's going to tell you. So set is whether yes or no. So it's yes or no questions. If you ask how far it is to the moon, probably not going to answer you, because it's not a yes and no question, not a yes and no question. So pendulums are a lot like we do table tipping, and we speak to spirit using a wooden table. It's like using a large wooden pendulum. Everybody's touching the table, and the table will move for yes, stop for no. It answers yes and no questions. You see what a table will do. It's just a yes and no situation with table tipping. It'll answer yes or no. So those two ways to communicate with spirit are yes and no situations with that. tarot cards are this whole connection in tarot cards. The, the Rider deck is one of the major decks. There's so many now. There's so many decks of cards out on the market now to do readings with cards. Cards are what radiates to you. I kind of like the tarot deck. I like the tarot deck. And the tarot cards all have these specific meanings to them. They're designed within the cards. All of them have, everything has got a specific meaning to it. Whatever card you look at has a specific meaning of what that card means. But a lot of it too is what it means to you and your vibration. I have a deck I call, it's an angel deck that I have had for many, many years. And the angel deck only has words on it. That's all it has. Just simple words on it. And every once in a while, you'll come across, it's an angel deck, you'll come across an angel card. And I like this deck. I really like this deck. It's called an angel deck. And it's probably off the market now. Angel Oracle deck, off the market. But I really like this deck of cards because it's only words. It's only when you deal the cards out, it's giving you words for you to personally interpret for yourself or the other individual. So it's not pictures, or there's just words that'll show up in front of you. So I like that deck. Tarot decks work really well. There's different types that you use regular card decks. Card decks are, it's what the card means to you. Really, it's a king or jack, a queen, a 3, a 4, doesn't matter. It's what the card means to you. If you start getting sets like the hearts or the spades or the clubs, then there's a meaning why you're getting so many clubs, a reading why you're getting so many hearts, reading for that. There's a reason why that happens. So it's teaching yourself what works for you. I have these flower cards. These are flower cards, flower power. And these have different plants within the card. And that gives you information and connection to what's meaningful to the individual. But it's still what works for you, what fits the vibration for you and the vibration. When I started this whole thing, I could communicate with spirit, but I used tarot a lot when I was younger to give readings to individuals because the people would understand the cards. They would look at them and know exactly where the cards laid, and they'd be able to see it black and white instead of me just speaking to the spirit world. They got to see the tarot deck. They got to see what was going on in front of them. And I thought that worked quite well because cards aren't really for the medium. Cards are mostly for the person because I'm getting the cards out that's getting me out of my way. So I have this more pure connection to the spirit world. While I'm doing that situation, person's looking at the cards, which is changing their auric field, changing their vibration around them. So it connects to them to a higher sense of consciousness, which clears us both on this channel of this more truer connection to the spirit world. So when you're doing these situations with reading or connecting to the spirit world, it's more of trying to get the person not to be out of their senses here, but more of to be more open to a communication with the spirit world. No matter what tool you use, it's this openness to, if you have somebody sitting in your office and they've got their arms crossed and they're just meaner than a firecracker and they don't even want to talk to anybody, it's going to be awful hard for you to communicate with spirit because that block, because it's through the individual giving you energy, you dealing with the spirit world, and it keeps falling back and forth. It's communication back and forth with the individual in front of you. It's just communication. When one part of that is done, it doesn't work. The other part doesn't quite click into motion, doesn't click into motion. So the readings go off. They go off a little bit into the scenario. But the whole kind of thing, and I use fortune teller sticks, which I teach these in my class. But these fortune teller sticks have little sayings on them, which I think is kind of cool. And when you have somebody pick out 5, 6 of these sticks out of this whole, they got a whole thing full of But you have people pick things out from that and lay them on the table. Then from the sayings on this, you bring people a reading. You bring people a reading in the vibration. Now, this one says a strange proposal will soon arrive. This one says wealth will come to you through marriage or home. Now, see, what you do is you take just from those sayings, so the words, when I teach mediumship classes, I teach you to try to train yourself, your psychic alphabet. What does the words, what does the symbol, what does the vibration mean to you? So when a word appears in front of you or a symbol appears in front of you, you know what it is. You have a good connection to what it is. You understand it. So it's always what it means to you. I could give you a book, give you a book and say, this is what that means to me. But you might go, no, it doesn't mean that to me. I don't want to, it means this to me. This is what it means to me. Symbols will be shown to you because it has something to do with your spiritual growth, your physical growth, your earthly existence. It has something to do with you. If you got hit on the head every time you walked in the house with a baseball bat, might not think a baseball bat is good. It hurts. But I got a baseball bat for Christmas. I played baseball. So that means that I feel very comfortable with the bat. Now, you would have a different impression of the baseball bat. Or if you got hit by a red car, and then once you see a red car, you're going to feel accident. Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. But I might have got a red car for a Christmas gift. So the question here is, it has a different meaning to me. It has a different vibration if I saw that symbol. So it's always what it means to you, what it connects to you with, well, how the energy propels itself in your vibration. Always remember that when you're looking at something. What does it mean to you? What does it connect to you? When I teach class, I have you write on a card 3 things. Doesn't matter what they are, 3 things. 3 things. And when I teach this, well, if I said snow, water, tree, when I teach you to remember that snow, water, and tree are your symbols, yours, not the person in front of you. They are your symbols, unless they have no direct meaning to you. They are yours. Snow, water, and tree. So if I look at you and go, you know, I felt a little snow around here, and I felt that snow falling, and there was water on the ground. I felt the stream running through the vibration. I felt water, and I saw a beautiful green tree. God bless you. You're going to look at me and go, what the heck are you talking about? Because those are symbols that are propelled into my vibration. If I start giving you my symbols, my vibration, those are symbols that have some kind of connection to me. So if I saw snow, water, tree, I'm not going to mention them in a reading. I'll know they're there. I know they're in the vibration, but I will not mention them. What I will tell you in the vibration is there is a movement of change in situations of climate within your life. The vibration of life is to change in situations moving in the right direction for you. Walking slowly now at this moment in your life will get you to where you need to be of spiritual growth, a connection to a higher sense of consciousness, a vibration within your life that brings you to this new avenue within your vibration of change and movement and perspective, clarity on the path ahead of you. Now, that's just from the 3 things that I saw within the vibration. Snow means a change, a vibration of change, of season, a change, a vibration of purity, a change of vibrations, things dying off, new birth arriving. Water, when you see water in somebody's vibration, it's always what is the water doing? Is it clear? Is it murky? Or is it moving? Is it torrent, stream? What kind of water are you envisioning with the person? Water has a meaning, whether it's murky, whether it's dark, whether it's clear, whether it's deep, whether it's shallow. There's a meaning why that's being shown to you. Trees, you have to look at trees. I do a whole class on trees, on how to draw a tree, and I will tell you about your life. When I do classes on trees, I will have you draw a tree. I will have you sign your name, and I won't tell you where to put the tree, what tree to draw, where to sign your name, or do anything. I will just tell you, sign your name, draw a tree. And from you, how you do that, how you propel that in motion, tell you about your life. Because you put the tree wherever you feel like it needs to be. You sign it where you feel like you need to sign it. You might be thinking like, oh, they're going to do it this way, but it's exactly what your consciousness is telling you to do. So a lot of things with spiritual readings is how it works for you, with how it propels the vibration for you and clicks forward the vibration for you. You have to listen to yourself. And that's the question. People don't listen to what they're doing or what they're putting in motion. What they're doing is they're trying to kind of force the vibration in your life. No forcing, allowing the energy to flow through you, flow through you like a channel. And then allow yourself to give you the readings and make good sense of it, because I teach CERT, 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 communication, evidence, reason, tell a story. First, you're going to have communication with spirit, have that connection to spirit. You're going to give some kind of evidence that spirit is here. Somebody's here, how they passed, what they look like, how they're walking, all kinds of little things that you make a connection to the spirit world. Communication. Evidence. Some kind of evidence that they're here. Evidence that they have arrived in your vibration. Spirit is always here for a reason. Spirit doesn't do work. From the spirit world, fly all the way down to this little blue planet and this dark energy with a vibration within your situation and say, well, you've come back just to say, I love you. No, they come back because there's a reason why they've entered your vibration at this point in your life to help you, to encourage you. And that's through either guides, family members, past life incarnations, different things within your vibration appear within your auric field at the time that you need them. You might feel like you haven't seen a spirit guide or somebody with you for a while. They haven't been here for a while. You haven't had any communication with them. A family member passed the spirit world and they haven't communicated with you. Because it means that it's not the timing, their expertise, their connection of who they are. The timing isn't right because you don't need them to appear. You appear because they need to appear. They need to help. They need to encourage. They need to bless you on your journey. They don't just show up just to go, I love you. You have to realize when I do these readings, people have associated with your energy through lifetimes. Some of us have had many lifetimes, but some of us have had a few. Doesn't matter. Through lifetimes, we have associated ourselves with spirit, through light beings from the spirit world, embodying themselves in human form. Now we have all these beautiful beings that have lived lifetimes, incarnations and lifetimes. And through your life, these light beings will then reappear within your vibration when you need them, either through a physical form of a mother, a father, a friend, somebody in your life, a connection with that vibration, or you will have them appear in your life from a lifetime, an incarnation from years back. And at this point in your life, you need them because they have expertise of what you absolutely need. Reason they're here. Then there's always this tell a story, tying it all up, bring it all together. Can't start at chapter 1 and skip the whole body of the whole vibration and skip to the end. It's this whole of telling a story, taking people on a journey. A journey. It's a journey of how you perceive the readings, how you perceive them. You're taking the person on a journey. Remember when I try to teach about vibrations, when you left the spirit world, there was a place there in the spirit world. It's your village. It's where you are, where you've come from. It's where your group of spirits, your group of entities, your group of light beings reside there. It's where they reside. That is your group. It's your conscious group that's moving itself towards the evidence of spirit and the light. So your group, they will incarnate with you throughout lifetimes, but through the same group. Your mother could have been your daughter in the past, your son, your grandfather, your mother, through other lifetimes. We move through the group to encourage the group to move forward. forward. Now, remember, when you came here, you exited that group. Now, you could have gone to any building on the other side, resided at any vibration within the other side, but you came here after you got all the particulars that you wanted to do in this lifetime. And people from your group re-enter this lifetime with you to help you on your journey, or for you to help them. For you to help them. Family members are not guides. I'll reiterate it again. Family members are not guides. Unless there's a family member that you never met, never had a connection to in this lifetime, never knew that person, never had a connection to them, then they could possibly be a guide. Your great-great-grandmother could appear as a guide. But if your brother dies, goes to the spirit world, he doesn't all of a sudden become your guide. You didn't handpick him. You picked your guide before you envisioned this journey here. You handpicked all of them. So, and now your guides will change through your lifetime as you progress through your lifetime. But there are guides and avenues within your life that you've already picked. I love it. I have questions with people, and I have this whole thing with people. I believe in karma. I believe in that whole vibration of karma. It's change. But the question here with karma, though, is I believe that we pick our life lessons, we pick our challenges for each lifetime to affect the whole, affect the universal energy. We take on situations in life. We might not feel they're good, but they were part of our decision to help the group. So we take things too seriously in our lives of situations that have happened. And if we just allow ourselves just to move past it, just to move past that situation and say, you know, that probably wasn't mine. Move past it instead of dwelling in that position for the rest of your life. Dwelling there, never moving forward, never going forward because of this situation that happened in your life. What if that wasn't a life lesson? What if it wasn't something for you to dwell on in your life, but you decided that it should be, and you've dwelled there, or you've held this conscious thing for somebody that they treated you so badly? What if that treating you so badly in your life was more to get you to where you needed to be in this lifetime? Maybe just change your avenue of thought in this lifetime to place you where you needed to be. So a lot of things in our life are not cut in stone. We pick the destinations when we do readings for people. We tell them what we see in the vibration, but the people always pick how they're going to arrive at the destinations in their life. They have that free will and choice to either accept or decline what's appearing in front of them. I could tell you all kinds of stuff is happening in front of you, but if you don't look at it, don't try to take it or look at the vibration and just ignore it, then you're probably not going to see that and maybe take another journey to where you're going to be. Readings are this communication with spirit. When you do the pendulum, spirit guides are sitting on the other side, sitting with you, helping you answer questions that you need answers to. When I sit in circle, and I have people sit in circle, and mediumship circles, there are mediums or guides from the spirit world standing behind each and every person in that circle. That's why you do seances. You just can't miss a seance. You can't go off somewhere else in a seance. That means you have to make that appointment or that rational decision to be in every meeting of that seance, because they work with your energy. You become part of the group, part of the chain of that group. In a mediumship group, that's why I love people do a lot of things online. They get certified online and do all this stuff online, but they don't have that communication, that touch, that standing in a room with people, that energy fills the room with people doing the work. It works extremely well for the vibration for that. So if you have a chance to attend classes that someone's teaching and you get to sit with a group of like-minded people, raising the energy and raising the vibration, oh my God, it's wondrous that what happens there in that room, because it encourages your own self-involvement, your self-group, your self-movement. You might take something online or do something on your own in the vibration, but you don't have that group to encourage your energy field to move higher. That's what you're looking to do. Have your energy field move higher to practice. One thing I like about Castaneda, there's one thing, but it's because people, we have groups, and you get to work at your mediumship and work with groups of people to allow you to improve, to rationalize, to encourage your mediumship. There's this movement of energy when you do this work. And that's why you want to try to attend groups or attend the vibration to raise your energy field. But readings are this connection. You can read just about anything. I do ribbon readings, which are streams of ribbons. And you pick 4 or 5 ribbons from the circle of ribbons. And from that, I will give you a reading for the colored ribbons and the colored situations that you did. Ribbon readings, flower readings, those are more of a psychic connection to mediumship. Psychic and mediumship is a little bit different because psychic, I'm reading the energy that you propelled onto an object, that you propel around your energy field. You propelled around you. I'm not reading spirit, I'm reading the energy that you propelled within that ribbon, that flower thing that I am holding on to. I'm reading the energy of the object, psychometry. And mostly mediumship, that's what it is. Mostly mediumship is psychometry. It's a connection to higher consciousness, higher vibrations within people's lives. So it is a psychometry. Psychometry is just reading of an object, the energy that's left on an object, left on a vibration, and you read that energy. So by learning how to do that, and I've done billet readings, and billet readings where you write something on a piece of paper and put it in a basket, and a medium will pick up the paper and answer the question that you wrote on the paper, called billet readings. A lot of energy with that. My mother used to do stone readings, and stones work very well for doing readings. I have bags, I have stones that people will reach into the bag, pull out 4 or 5 stones, place them on the table, and out of the 4 or 5 stones that they picked out, I give them a reading. Usually I have the bag, this is a black bag, something black so they can't see what the stones are, can't visually see them. All they're doing is reaching into the bag, pulling out 5 stones, placing them on the table. That way you actually are looking at that vibration, looking at the connection of what color stones did they pick out of there, what size stones they pick out of there, what's the name of the stones they picked out of there, and what's the energy that they decided they needed at this point in their life. Those are stones, because all stones hold the same energy field as they hold their energy field, their vibrational number. The energy field of every stone is a little bit different. So when they pick out hematite and kyanite and different stones, you're going to see different energies appearing within the mix, within the vibration of what they personally need at this point. You pick up a lot of protection stones, you kind of realize that probably this time they need protection from something in their life. And that's where you go back and ask spirit. You have to be able to chew gum and walk at the same time. So the question here is, can you chew gum and walk at the same time? Because you have to be able to speak, talk, and also talk to the spirit world at the same time. Have communication with the spirit world, have communication with the person in front of you. People get I've done this work for quite a few years. If I sit on the stage and I look at you and I start doing a reading for you, and then tiny bit into the reading, I stop. I take a breath. I stand there on the platform and I don't move. I'm gathering information. I've lost the interest of you, possibly the people in the group around you. I've lost your interest. I've stopped. Now I'm trying to communicate and bring more information, but I keep stopping through the reading. I keep stopping. When I do personal readings, I don't stop. I go. Because I'm communicating with spirit as I'm communicating with you. So I don't have to stop. I don't need to stop. I was never trained in my life to give you my symbols. People are trained to do that. I was never trained to do that. And we had a friend of mine come here, and he was trained different than we are here in Castaneda. He was trained different than I was in Canada and other parts of the United States, trained differently than I was. He was trained the way he was supposed to read. So not every reader is a bad reader. They're just trained differently. They've just been trained differently, the vibration. For instance, that we had hands-on healing here in Casadega for many, many, many years, hands-on healing. Then we had some teachers come in and start teaching tonic healing, where you don't touch. We don't touch. Then people started not touching because they didn't feel like they should touch somebody. But I always felt that if you're a healer, you should at least have some kind of connection to the individual. You have a connection to them because you're wanting your energy to filter within the vibration of that individual by waving around in the auric field. And I always tell, well, people tell me, oh, Lewis, I know where the auric field is. I know where to place my hand. Not really. Auric fields change constantly within a person's being. It's how they feel, how they sense, how they feel about the situation around them. If you like your energy, the vibration of the auric field could move. Don't quite care for you, the energy field is going to pull in. But they don't like you at all. You're just going to just bring their auric field right into their body. So you're really never really going to quite know where the auric field is and where it's fluctuating, unless you absolutely just touch the shoulder, just rest a hand on someone's shoulder. Then you're in complete communication with the individual. When I teach mediumship, the one thing about mediumship with psychometry and the vibrations with psychometry, you wear your wedding ring on your left hand because that finger is connected to your heart. So if I was going to reach somebody and I had to hold on to their hand, I wanted to get more energy from the individual. I have people that will put their hands up or set their hands on top of somebody's hands, try to feel the energy. But I've learned through a lot of teachers in my life, take your left hand and place your left hand into that individual's left hand. So you're connected heart to heart. Once the hands are connected and you're holding hands with the individual and you're connected heart to heart, you take your right hand and you cover both hands. Put a seal of protection around that connection. Feel the energy coming from heart to heart. Works extremely well, especially if you're just trying to reach out and grab somebody's hands. But if you just do heart to heart, remember that if you're looking for precise reading or a precise vibrational reading or situations with that, it's heart to heart, especially with the reading. That way you're dealing with that heart, that love connection in the person's life. So a lot of the little tools I'm teaching you today, that communication with spirit, I've said this before, is Living Rainbows. There's a book called Living Rainbows. It teaches you exactly how to see auras. And you don't really need a book to see auras, but the book is very basic. It's very simple to start to learn to see auras with Living Rainbows. But if you sit like in an office or a doctor's office, you sit somewhere and you need to be there for a little bit. Just kind of look at someone's shoulder. Stare at their shoulder. Allow your eyes to go a little out of sync for you. And then start seeing the auric field start to light up, start to raise off from the body. The colors will be there. They'll start to show them for you. And if you get to see the auric field and you see the complete auric field around somebody, you're definitely going to see spirit. They appear in the auric field. They appear there. They appear in the vibration of the auric field. So if you see that connection behind you, that connection in the vibration, you're going to say, oh, I can see spirit now because I see the auric. I see the auric field. I do 3D, the 3D thing, like, the kids look at those pictures, then you have to look at them and to bring through an image. You'd see the image within the puzzle thing, this 3D puzzle. Those work very well to take you out of sync, out of vibration. As we get older, young kids, they come to my classes, they take those books, they look at the thing and they go, oh, I see it. I see the picture. They don't even have to practice. They don't even have to look at it. They can see the picture. They don't have any qualms with seeing it. So we get older people, we get older, it takes a little bit more work to see that picture. We don't see it right away. We've got to kind of secure the book, get the book going back and forth before we actually bring that picture into focus. That's the same thing with spirit. You have to practice a little bit with how you perceive them, how to throw your sense out of sync so you can get this full picture of the spirit world behind you. But as this is working, this connection to spirit, if we allow ourselves to just connect, not do something that you're not comfortable with. And I never teach in my class that you've got to walk this way, do it this way. If you don't do it this way, it's probably not going to work. I allow you to do it your way. What may say works for you, I'll help you on your journey, but I do not tell you that it has to be a certain way. It has to be this way or the highway. That's it. Now we're done. And I've been in many classes like that where a teacher would say, you have to read like me. And I would never like people. I would never quite read like them. So I didn't really understand why I would have to read like them, because it isn't how I perceive spirit. It's not how I sense them. I had a teacher tell me one time that you just fake it until you make it. I never really got that because I wasn't going to fake it until I made it. I mean, because that way I always thought that would be making my guides mad. If I was just faking it, they wouldn't speak to me anymore. If I started faking it until I made it, they wouldn't speak to me anymore. Then I'd have trouble. And now they wouldn't speak to me. So I always try to be as truthful as I can with the readings. Now we're not going to be 100% right all the time as mediums. You're not. Don't beat yourself up if you're not 100% right, because we still have to read the symbols. We have to read the vibration. It'd be funny if they would just stand up in front of us and start talking away, and we could just repeat what they said. That'd be just awesome. But there's like this 24 questions here. It's like they start moving things in and moving things back and resetting things and moving things and resetting. So we have to try to read the flow and read the vibration of how the path is leading us. Think of your life. You're heading off on a hike. You're standing at the front of the path. Now, really, you've never been on that path before, so now you've got to try to figure out what's down that path. You've got to figure out what's in it. So you start venturing off with your walking stick, heading down the path. And as you move down the path, you're going to see the path changes. Different things are starting to appear into the vibration of the path. The reason they're appearing because the path isn't really your path. You're giving a reading to somebody and you're envisioning their path. She might try to question things and beat things up in our head, trying to figure out, like, what's that? Why are they trying to show me that? What you're trying to do is you're trying to set your GPS. You're trying to set your vocabulary for this work. And I've spent years. It doesn't happen overnight that you've got your vocabulary set and we're done. I got it set. The vocabulary sometimes will change. So it will change a little bit for the individual you're reading. That's why you have to have that strong connection with the individual. You take a breath. When I do readings, I have somebody sit in my chair. I go sit in where I'm going to have the client sit. Before the client gets here, I go sit in their chair. So that means that when that client arrives in my office, they're going to sit not in somebody else's energy, not in some other vibrational energy that was there before them. They're going to sit in my energy because I have placed my energy in that chair before they got here. Then I go sit across from them, and really I'm connecting to that energy that I've left over there that's encircling them and bringing forth the information I need to see. Works really well. Even though with Reiki and doing healing and doing different things, that vibration, if you just lay it on the Reiki table or put yourself in the space where your client is going to be before they arrive in the space, the energy works so much better because you've allowed them to not lay in somebody else's space. I taught that to an acupuncturist many years ago because she used to have just people lay one right after another and on these massage tables as she did acupuncture. But instead of changing the energy, changing the vibration before the person laid down, it was that they were just laying in everybody else's energy, everybody else's stuff, everybody else's junk. And it was the medium to clear the energy. And what I do is I clear the energy out of the space from the last client, the last person who sat in the space. I just clear it. I clear the energy myself. Same thing as I do when I do seances. I clear the room. I clear the energy in the room. I make it protected. I protect the space. It's a safe space. And I make conversations with individuals as a safe space by just sitting there and taking the space and going, clear it. And that works. It's over the years I've done this, it just works. I still have fights with people over pendulums. So they keep saying, oh, we're going to hold it. We're going to hold it like this. We're going to hold that thing like this. And we're going to do this. Most mediums and my mother and my grandmother, that is how they held the pendulum. With that sitting there, and it's sitting like that. And I trusted my grandmother, my mother, and different people in my family to know what they were talking about, because they've been doing it many more years than I was ever doing it as a child. And I had a lot of teaching from that, an understanding of how spirit worked. Spirit has a sense of humor. No matter how you want to work at this, what you want to do, what you want to set in motion, spirit has a sense of humor. So sometimes they'll show you something and they get like a little sense of humor with it. So you gotta kind of ask them, be specific what you're asking for the vibration. You're asking for the person in front of you, or on the phone, or on computer, or whatever you're doing. You're asking for that person's highest and best. Is there anything I need to do, put in motion, or accomplish for this individual for this reading at this time? Could you please show me? So allow spirit to work with you through guides, past lives, incarnations. Allow them to work with your vibration. Allow them to work with your vibration. You have to allow them to be in that scenario for you. Because if you don't, you allow these people you just say, well, that's not working. And you were the best participant in the reading because you were the one listening. I told a client the other day, I said I started doing readings when readings were $3 for like a 45-minute reading. Well, it's been a while ago. Readings aren't $3 anymore. They aren't that connection anymore. So that means that you are a participant because you're trying to find the information you personally need for this moment in your life, this moment. You could be at a crossroads. You could be disillusioned. You could have a situation going on in your life that you need information about. And you're wanting that clear information so you can actually kind of gear the path ahead of you, kind of move down it with vigor. And that's what a medium tries to do, is try to not take you by the hand. I can't follow you every day and go, what you up to? I can't do that. I like to sometimes. I'd like to follow some people in their life, just sneak up behind them and go, what you doing? Because they give me calls and I go, why'd you do that? Why did you put yourself in that situation? After I told you not to do it, why did you put yourself there? See, the question is that always remember, Spirit's got your best scenario at heart, but a lot of it, if you've picked a life lesson, a life encouragement to help the universal energy, then you will go through that. You might go through it either kicking and screaming and yelling and scraping at the sides of the walls, or you can go through it like me and just go, I'm going to do this right now, but it's going to turn out okay. And I do envision where I want to land once this is done, because I'm helping the universe. I'm helping that part. That's why this is happening in my life at this point. I always ask my guides if there's something I personally need to do, something I need to put in motion or accomplish at this point in my life. Please show me. That works the best when you're in your position in your life that you have things happening in your life. Is there something you need to do, something you need to put in motion? You're looking for repetition. You're looking for clarity. So you're looking for spirit to maneuver situations and events in your life. Raised in your life. When you do a reading, like I did a reading almost 8 months ago, and I told this gentleman, I said, they keep handing you a red rose. And I feel the rose has some kind of connection to a relationship. And I feel the relationship's going to have some kind of connection to this rose. And you should keep that in mind. 3 weeks after to the day after I gave him the reading, a lady entered his life with red hair, and her name was Rose. The rose I saw him holding was red. Now, did I see the woman coming with red hair? Did I see her coming with the name? I just knew that that red rose had some kind of connection to his future events. I had a knowing. I know that I know that I know. I had a knowing that that was supposed to happen. So we have to realize that you will have a knowing. You just know, like, I just know. I know that's it. That's it. Gotta be it. Yeah, you'll just know that that is the connection you need to make. The connection to your vibration. So when you're working and understanding spirit and working with spirit in your life, don't sit there and just take everything as sense of humor. Kind of make them be more clear, more specific within your life. Haphazardly jumping all over the place, no, you control them. And that's through sitting and focusing your intent. Sit and focus your vibration on a spot, on a candle, on a rose, on a table, on something. Focus your intention on that. And when your mind wavers and you go off, oh, I saw guides over here. Oh, I saw something going on over here. You appreciate your guide for showing it, but you appreciate it, but you bring your focus. You appreciate, you acknowledge that it's there, but you bring your focus back to the rose or whatever you've had your focus onto. Now, it takes work. It isn't something you're going to do all of a sudden. It's perfect. It takes work to do it. And it takes work to just keep your focus on that one item, even though all this stuff is going on around you. Focused. So that when you get into doing mediumship work, you aren't scattered. You aren't over here and over here. There's people over here, and there's people over here, the people over here. You set rules to your guides. If you see spirit in somebody's work field, and let's say you have somebody, you're looking at somebody, and over their left shoulder is their mother. Their mother is standing there talking to them and reversing and talking to them. Consciously or subconsciously, you will know that father's side is now on the right side of the family, on the wall. Father's side, mother's side. Then you'll know, like, okay, that's where mother's side is. So now when I get people on that side of people, I'm going to know that has some kind of connection to their mother's side of the family. Then by as a deduction, the right side would be father's side. Then you start setting like grandparents, people, friends, other situations for them. But those become very evident because you start giving a reading and the father shows through on the right side or the left side, then you know the other side of the body is mother's side or father's side. It's just either or. So be watchful and watch when you're training yourself and looking at this whole situation. Where did the energy appear? Where did it appear in the vibration? Next side would be it. Then you start setting the other vibrations, and then they don't change it. They don't take your psychic vocabulary and go, ha ha, we're going to throw all that out. Let's go do this. They don't do that. When you set your vocabulary, when you set something that it means, it'll always mean that. It'll always have that connection to that. Now, you might have to read it. Now, you might see, let's say, a red truck. You saw a red truck. Now, red truck means a certain thing to you. It means that to you, like, But for this particular reading, that red truck might not have any doors on it. So you've always seen a red truck with doors. It means this to you, but now the truck doesn't have any doors on it. So that means that you have to interpret why the truck doesn't have doors. You have to interpret that. You have to bring yourself to interpretation of why they're showing you that. Instead of the full red truck, they've taken the doors. Why? If you see a clothesline, and most time you see a clothesline, it's got clothespins on it. Now all of a sudden, you see the clothesline, there's no clothespins. Or there's one stashed way off in the corner. You have to understand what are your guides trying to tell you because of that. That's what you're teaching yourself. You're teaching yourself to have communications with them, communication them. And on your own, it's cards, different things, pendulums, different things. You can give yourself your own personal reading. Deal your cards out. Figure out what the cards mean. What do they mean? What do they connect to you? How do they? What is your interpretation of what you saw in front of you? What do you interpret the vibration of what's in front of you? Usually when cards are in reverse, they have a different meaning of the vibration. When they're in reverse movement within the vibration. I've had people set the cards up exactly right. They're exactly right. They're face up. They're not turned around. And once you go to delve the cards are turned around. Cards are different ways. They just appear because that is the information you personally need. But cards really work well. I don't get readings in Casadega with a medium here, but I don't get readings here because people tell me to move. So I don't really get readings here. I go somewhere where nobody knows me, and I find a medium or a psychic that doesn't know me, then I'll sit down and get a reading. And I have to tell you, the best reading I ever had in my life was in Louisiana on the French Quarter. And we were walking around, me and my wife, and she had already gotten a reading from somebody on the plaza. And I'm walking around, I didn't see anybody I really had a connection to. This guy who had long white dreadlocks, white outfit, come walking out from the corner of an alley to set up a table. I go, he's probably the one. I went over and talked to him, and he read bones. The bone reader, which I thought was kind of cool. He was reading bones. I was kind of hoping they weren't human bones, but he was reading bones. And so the reading was an extremely extraordinary reading that he gave me. And when he finished the reading, he folded up his table, packed his wares up, and disappeared into the alleyway. So it kind of gave me the idea that he was there specific for me. So a lot of things in our lives, a lot of things in our vibrations within our lives, and our connections with our lives, are these things show up. These things connect to the vibration with us, constantly within our vibration. You have to ask yourself, what do you need? What do you particularly want in your life, especially when you're doing mediumship? Now I'm going to turn off